Hey, what's up, guys? It's your Madden coach, Brooke, aka Brooklyn, and I'm back with another video. So in today's video, I want to talk about run defense, talking about the basics of run defense, how to prevent the run. You know, there's two types of run in Madden. There's the inside run and there's the outside run. Both have to be defended differently, both take different plays, and both take different defensive adjustments that you must do in the pre-play to make sure that you can prevent that run from happening. I'm just going to go over the basics in this video. How to get around the inside run, the outside run, how to look at your run defense. I feel like a lot of people don't know how to actually look at their run defense. A lot of them are looking at their cover 2s or their cover 3s or their man-to-man defense, and that's more for pass defense. But your run defense is going to show you where your blocking assignments are, you know, who's your cutback, who's your fullback, right? Where your key players are in preventing that run, and then allow you to position those players in the right positions to fill the box and fill those gaps before the halfback has a chance to run up the field with the football. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna hop on my TV real quick. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. What's up, guys? It's your Madden coach, Brooke, aka Brooklyn. In today's video, I'm going to go over how to stop the run, basics of run defense. So we're going to go quickly into a good run defense, which is a cover 4. Now, cover 4 specifically is good for the outside run, not necessarily the inside run. But I'm showing you outside run defense today. So, and let's pick an outside run. Let's go with the stretch, okay? Stretch is a very popular play. So, right off the bat, I want to show you guys something. So, a lot of you guys know that when you press R2, you see your pass play. So, you see the quarter flats, you see the cover 4 zone man, and you see your 3 rec hook and your 4 defensive linemen at the bottom as your first line of defense. But what you don't see is your run. So if I quickly switch this, and by pressing circle while I'm holding R2, then now you see your run play, okay? So now you see your 3 linebackers, okay? And you see your cutback and your fullback, okay? Now I'm gonna go over all of this to make it make sense to you, but each linebacker, this orange thing you see here, this is called a gap filler. So his responsibility is to fill the gaps of the play. So if he's gonna snap the ball, my responsibility is to fill that gap. Now, you know, assuming that you can fill the gap, a lot of times he has his own gaps that he wants to fill on offense. And I can't show you that right now because I don't have 2 controllers, but he's trying to fill the gap on offense and you're trying to fill the gap on defense. So you have many gaps you're going to be filling. You know, you see 3 different gap fillers here. But if a defensive, usually you'll have some type of defensive or offensive lineman that's going to try and engage with you to block you from stopping the halfback. What you can do as a linebacker is you can quickly press square as soon as you engage with the offensive line, and you'll quickly break away from him, which will give you more time to get after the quarterback or the halfback that's running the ball. But that's the basic gist. So here's another, this guy's actually a safety in this play, but he's also running into a gap, right? So he's running a gap right here. So if he snaps the ball, he's looking to fill that gap, right? Now the gaps were pretty much filled up by the offensive line, but you get the gist. Now moving along, this Jones over here is the cutback person. Now you see as when I bring him in, he's no longer a cutback, but when I bring him out, he's a cutback. The reason being is because the responsibility of the cutback is to make sure that that run doesn't get any further than the linebackers. This is assuming that the linebackers weren't able to do their job and stop the run. So now we need this cutback person to get after the run and chase the run
just in case these linebackers and defensive linemen weren't able to stop it. And he has to always be on the outside. So if he's on the inside, he's no longer the cut back. This guy's got to be the cut back to make sure that that doesn't get too far. Now, the F is your fullback, and that is Wilson, right? Now, you see with the fullback, it doesn't matter if he's in, right? I mean, he can't be too far in, but it doesn't matter if he's inside a couple of players or if he's outside a couple of players. He's a fullback, and his responsibility is to make sure that that run doesn't go too far outside. That's the fullback's responsibility, is make sure that run doesn't go too far outside. So these are the two main key players of the run. Now, one thing you can do when you expect your opponent's running the ball is you can pinch the whole defense. And the way you do this is you press L2 and you go down on the left stick to pinch the defense. What it's gonna do is it's gonna force the blockers to the linebackers to try and force this guy to come out. What you can also do is you can put your players into position. So you can take this guy, the fullback, put him into position. You can take Heath, who's way up there, and put him in position, right? So I put him into position. Now he keeps scrolling back up, and sometimes it will do that. But there he goes, he's in position. So now I have all my players in position. The cutback can be back there, doesn't matter. And my fullback's here to stop the run. So if he's doing a stretch and he's running to the left, and by the way, my whole defense is pinched. So just in case he does get by the fullback, he's gonna have to also get back past my cornerback, assuming that Beckham doesn't try to block him. Now, if Beckham's a blocker, then that's out of the picture, right? Unless he can break the block. But my fullback is responsible for stopping that run and my linebacker. So we pinch the line. He's gonna run a stretch. So my responsibility is to run to the outside of that stretch. Now, obviously, he got a nice run there. He ran to the inside. But the fullback's, and you don't want to pinch the whole defensive line because then everyone goes on the inside and he's running to the outside, right? So what you might want to do is you might want to make these linebackers go wide, right? And then you'll have an easier time at getting at this halfback, okay? So what you might want to do is make these guys go a little bit wider. Now, before this guy starts to play, you might even want to make this guy go a little bit wider again. If he stays like that, right? Make Crawford go a little bit wider as well, right? Take your fullback, bring him over here, right? To keep him over there, and then bring Jeff Heath and user Jeff Heath. I always recommend that you guys user a linebacker on the run versus the fullback or the cutback because their responsibility is a lot more difficult than yours, right? As a linebacker, your responsibility is to fill this gap. Okay, so now the run play is gonna snap, and I'm gonna look to fill the gap. He ran through the middle because he's seen the fullback into position, so he's not gonna be able to run the ball as effectively. Versus the fullback's over here, he's likely gonna run the ball to the outside, and I'm gonna try and stop him here, but he's still likely to run the ball to the outside. So he snaps the ball, and you see he runs the ball to the outside. Now he still got stopped, right? Because the fullback's still in somewhat good position. Now, if you're going to be the fullback, your responsibility is to cut the halfback off from getting to the outside. So your responsibility is not always to make the tackle, but to make sure that you get here before the halfback gets there, okay? So you put him in a position where it's easy for him to do that. So when the halfback snaps the ball, you're already down here for the tackle, right? Now, if a blocker got in the way, then he's gonna have to probably let one of your defensive linemen go, right? So he's gonna have to run inside of your fullback, right? So I hope you guys are getting the basic gist here. Your fullback is meant to say, you're not going any further outside than this. So his only option is to go inside of the fullback where he can meet with one of your linebackers or one of your defensive linemen, especially if you take the line and you make it go out, then now they're gonna have a problem because your fullback's right here. You're not going outside of that fullback, right? He snaps the ball, he's not getting outside of that fullback. He has to go inside, right? Which leaves my other linebackers there to make a tackle. Now, if you run to the inside, cover 4 is not going to work very well if you run to the inside. But for the most part, you're going to want to be one of these linebackers and run right through the middle, right? Now sometimes you might get blocked, right? But as you see, he's running it in for a touchdown when I don't put my fullback into position. So when you know your opponent's running the ball, it's very important you put your fullback into position, and you also press the line of scrimmage down to have extra help at the line at the cornerbacks in the corners. So then you come down to block the run, your cornerback should come and help you out when he sees that happening, right? So again, you come out, you pinch the line down, and he snaps the ball, right? You're already in position. Now there's a lot of good blocks on that run. A lot of good blocks on that run. For the most part, you want to stay in position here. Oh, and you also want to let these guys come out a little bit more if he likes to run to the outside. And you don't want to be the fullback, you want to be one of the linebackers. Okay, preferably the outside linebacker. Okay, and then you have to decide whether you want to fill this, and this is more advanced running, but you're going to have to decide whether you want to fill this gap, or if the guy's going to run to the outside and you want to help out your fullback and be backup. You're going to have to make those decisions on your own depending on how your opponent is doing. But if you're going to help out and assist, then now we're down to the line of scrimmage, right? You know, you just see how the play develops and you decide, okay, I'm going to help him out instead of filling the gap. Because then when you go to fill the gap, then you just get stuck engaged with one of those defensive linemen and you don't get anywhere. And then now he has more time to make a better play. So sometimes if you see that there is no gap there to be filled, and sometimes it's better just to help your fullback out instead of just help your fullback out to make that tackle after your fullback gets stopped, right? So sometimes it's better to follow your fullback, sometimes it's not. Okay, but if I put my fullback into position once again, and I go to Jeff Heath here, and I'm gonna assist my fullback, and now I see that he's engaged, I come down, and I actually missed a tackle there, but it should have been tackled for a loss. Then you got to the line of scrimmage there, right? But a lot of you guys that are better than me, if you guys practice this on a regular basis, every time your opponent runs the ball, you know, you pinch the line down, you put this guy in position, you take one of your linebackers down, you play him, you know, you assist the fullback on the outside run, then, you know, that guy is not going to be able to get very far on that stretch play, you know, versus if you just do okay, let me just base a line and do a corner press, not thinking about your fullback, maybe put your fullback over here, right? Not like just not understanding the game, and this guy runs a stretch play, and now you could still potentially stop him, but look how much more yards he's gaining from that, right? And he didn't even run that properly. Now, if you're facing an online opponent, they're likely going to do some jokes, some spins, they're going to get past one guy, you know, and there's only one guy there to stop him. So it's not all the time you're going to be able to stop the stretch, but by knowing this and putting your fullback in position, understand the responsibilities, and maybe you know he's going to run to the right. In this case, I know he's going to run to the right. I also put my cutback over here as well, and then I take Jeff Heath and I play Jeff Heath, you know, then now, you know, the stretch is in a position where it can't succeed. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys understand the video. Once again, it's your Madden coach. This is the basics of running, and I'm signing off. Peace.